What's good, bro? So recently, something happened to me in my personal life. And what actually happened was the death of my mother. So I'm 24 years old, and my mom passed away. But it wasn't the most sudden event. It was actually a gradual decline. So, you know, there's very many different ways that somebody can be removed from your life. If it was, let's say, a girlfriend can leave you, and your wife can leave you, and it can be a surprise to you. You know, a car accident can happen and it can take away somebody that you love. I see those as very harmful, very negative, potentially, of course, very negative events that can happen to people. And with what happened to me, I actually see myself as somebody that was fortunate. And not fortunate because something good happened, but fortunate because it happened to me and I wasn't harmed by it. Now, what do I say when I say I wasn't harmed? It's not to say that it's not a hard situation. It's not to say that I wake up and I don't miss my mom. You know, it's hard sometimes when I go inside her bathroom and everything that's there reminds me of her. But all it really means when I say that it's not harmful to me is that I don't sit around and mope all day and perceive it to be something that is debilitating me from doing work. I try not to use it as an excuse. And it hasn't been the easiest journey. You know, people look at me and they're like, wow, that guy is so stoic. I've actually heard it. And the reason why I am is not because of some kind of indifference in my heart, but because of what I've internalized, what I understand. And this understanding has just come from experiences and from reading. So one thing that I learned, and it actually came to me at the perfect time, is from this book, Lessons of History. I picked it up right before my mom passed away. And as I was reading it, it had the most perfect quote to sum up the situation that we were all in as a family, knowing that we were going to lose my mom. Here's what it said. Life has no inherent claim to eternity, whether in individuals or in states. Death is natural, and if it comes in due time, it is forgivable and useful, and the mature mind will take no offense from its coming. So when I heard that, literally, I read it days before my mother passed away. It just gave me so much peace of mind because I realized that I wasn't going to be tormented by this, because I saw that it was coming. Marcus Aurelius always talks about feeling harmed and removing the emotion from the situation that you're in. He actually says, choose not to be harmed and you won't be. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. And I realized that the situation that I'm going through right now, Alex Hormozy said in a video that you can use these things. Even the deep sadness that you feel from somebody not being in your life anymore, you can use this. You don't have to sit around and just feel sorry for yourself when in reality, what would that person want for you? What would they want from you? What would they want you to do with your life? I remember when I was actually finding out that my mom wasn't going to be with us anymore, and you know, that last week or so was hard. and she would be in bed, and she would just get progressively worse every single day. And you could see that, like, this is not headed in a good direction. Well, depending on what your definition of good is, for some people, good is the pain going away. For other people, good is them continuing to be with that person, right? So I'd never wish for anybody to continue to be in pain so that I could feel good. But with my mom, she's in that bed, and I had just come back from work, and I went to talk to her, and I was like, hey mom, I was just wondering, like, do you want me to take time off from work? She's telling me, like, no, why would I want you to take time off from work? And I'm like, oh fuck, I can't use that as a crutch. She literally told me, I really don't want you to take time from work. And what she's saying is, I don't want you to just be still. I don't want you to just be idle. I don't want you to just sit around and be in your bedroom all day doing nothing just because I'm gone. I want you to actually be using your time productively. Like, what death tells us is really that our time is limited. It's actually a beautiful lesson because it kickstarts us in our own life. So when I went to my mom and I was talking to her, I was like, yeah, I just got back from the doors. And she's like, oh, great. How many people did you talk to? I said, I talked to one person. And she said, one? Just one person? You can't sell anything talking to just one person. And here's my mom in her bed, getting ready to pass away. And she's telling me, like, look, you got to talk to more than one person. So I took that as a lesson, and it's going to stay with me forever. It really is. But the idea that, look, you can't just sit around and do nothing all day. You can't just play video games all day. You can't not be productive. You have to be working towards something. If you're not working towards something, you're working towards nothing. So that's why I filmed these videos, so that you can understand what my mindset has been. And, you know, there's so much wisdom that I've just been picking up on every day I read something, and it gives me strength. And then I find out that the strength that I'm looking for was always within me. Marcus Aurelius says, let it happen, if it wants, to whatever it can happen to. And what's affected can complain about it if it wants. It doesn't hurt me unless I interpret its happening as harmful to me. I can choose not to. So with this event, you know, I remember my cousin, after my mom had passed, he called me a few days later, and, you know, he just had so much happiness within him. I could hear it in his voice, because he realized how much of an opportunity that he actually had. It's not a sad event that she's gone. It's actually a blessing that you realize that you got to share your little piece of your finite human life with this wonderful person. And he was calling me, telling me, like, look, I just woke up and I had this joy inside my heart because I realized that I was fortunate enough to spend this time with your mom, and she was such an amazing person. And, you know, I feel the same way too. So when it comes to it, you have to use anything that you can to better yourself. Even those negative events. I talked about the caterpillar. You don't know what it's going to turn into. This is part of your story. Whatever you're going through, it's just going to make you who you are. So keep pushing. You'll get through it. Peace.